Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the video games that we always end up coming back to, despite being less than stellar for a variety of reasons.
I unlocked your wrists 5 minutes ago. You were too busy holding onto your bed to notice. I am flattered.
Number 20. Octodad, Dadliest Catch. Rage games are nothing new. That being said, when one has mechanics as nebulous as Octodad, playing it starts to become an exercise in masochism. Moving said octopus papa around each stage is a tug of war with the controls. At any moment, he can randomly decide to trip over his own tentacle and force you to start whatever task you've been given right from scratch.
Hold down! Or I can kill you!
So why do we find it so hard to hate? Because it's just so dang charming. So long as you try not to imagine how Octodad and his human wife started a family.
Okay, I'll just have to add that to the list of questions.
Number 19. DMC Devil May Cry. A complete rehaul and reimagining of Dante was always going to be a risky endeavor, especially given how diehard DMC fans are about their favorite Devil Hunter. The result was met with much outrage. Gone was the pizza-eating, cocky son of a gun and replaced with a try-hard stick-in-the-mud who looked like he should be fronting an edgy rock band.
Not in a million years.
That being said, the combat was actually pretty good. Over time, this iteration has become something of a black sheep. Originally unwanted, but now gradually accepted. Number 18. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. In hindsight, this was never going to measure up to the likes of Smash Bros. The combat wasn't as intricate, matchmaking and online play was far from smooth, and overall just felt clunkier than its big brother over at Nintendo. What it does have in abundance, however, is novelty. The fact we could have Kratos, Raiden, Cole, and Colonel Raditz go up against the likes of Nathan Drake, Sly Cooper, Parappa, and Sackboy is the best kind of crazy. While many lament the loss of what could have been, those that embraced All-Stars for what it was still had a whale of a time.
You've been practicing.
Number 17. Truck Simulator Series. Simulator games as a whole have slowly come into their own, with a few turning out to be legitimate gems. Truck Simulator sits somewhere in the middle. It's just driving a big rig across the country, dealing with traffic. Whether you play by the rules of the road or not is up to you. While that might sound bare bones, those that want a more zen-like experience without actually having to get behind the wheel have come to appreciate this style of gaming, with the likes of the Euro Truck and America Truck Simulator games serving as standouts. Number 16. Fight Crab. What happens when you pit a bunch of crustaceans against each other, arm them with every weapon imaginable, and let them go to war? The best kind of craziness. Given how the physics in this game are practically non-existent, don't expect much strategy or style when it comes to combat. It's all about indulging in the wackiness with no guarantee that your crab will be the last one standing, given how much of a free-for-all every battle tends to devolve into. Definitely one to be appreciated by those who don't take their gaming too seriously.
You win.
Number 15. Crash Bash.
Let the games begin.
As a Crash Bandicoot game and as a party game, it's fair to say that Crash Bash falls well below the bar in both categories. It ranks as one of the weakest in the franchise, mainly due to how it only has a set number of minigames to its name, which are constantly recycled, aside from a change of location and a coat of paint. It can get really repetitive really quickly, and yet for 90s kids, especially those who hadn't experienced what Mario was offering, this was a fun little distraction. Besides, being able to play as the villains for the first time was a neat gimmick, as was the bloodlust when it came to trying to best your friends in Polar Push.
You win.
Number 14. Mass Effect Andromeda. Does it live up to the original trilogy in any shape or form? From a story perspective, absolutely not. The plot, the supporting cast, the world building, it all felt woefully inferior compared to Mass Effect 1 through 3. Given what we now know about so-called BioWare magic, it makes a little too much sense.
We're banking on science we don't really understand. What if the theory's wrong?
The alternative is an 85% chance of death from lightning strike, capture, or worse.
While we'd recommend newcomers the Legendary Edition at the drop of a hat, we won't completely disregard Andromeda, on account that its combat was actually, shockingly, great. The sense of elevation, the frenetic pace of each firefight, we honestly wouldn't mind if they took some inspiration from it as the franchise moves forward. Number 13. Enter the Matrix. We would say this game was ambitious for its time, but in the same way the Matrix sequels were, trying to do and say too much, with the result being far less impressive and shallower than the creators intended. Still, back in the day, gamers adored bullet time. And for those that didn't know what Max Payne was, Enter the Matrix offered nothing but bullet time. The two campaigns were diverse enough to offer some level of replayability, and while by today's standards it plays as clumsily as it looks, there is some joy to be had from shooting enemies in slow-mo while attempting to run up walls. For the full Matrix experience, be sure to play this while wearing shades and a trench coat. Number 12. Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe.
Don't understand. The rage. The rage!
Nowadays, the likes of characters from other mainstream media taking part in Mortal Kombat video games is all too commonplace. But before MK entered its second golden age with the 2011 reboot, it was still finding its feet, and thought to win back dwindling fans by pitting the likes of Scorpion against Batman. Was the combat fun? Sure was, until you realized the violence and gore had been drastically watered down. It unfortunately wore out its chance to become the next big thing pretty quickly. The way we see it, MK vs. DC walked so Injustice could run.
Test your might.
Number 11. Lollipop Chainsaw.
Fuck off! Get away!
Cheerleaders, chainsaws, zombies. This game knows exactly what it is and relishes every moment of chaos and satire that unfolds along the way. Not surprisingly, given how it was penned by James Gunn. For those willing to come along for the ride, carving through undead bosses based on a certain style of music makes for a great time. Though that's not to say it's flawless. The combat isn't the slickest, the mini-games are a waste of time, and depending on your sense of humor, some of the gags and characters aren't going to land. Still, if you're in the mood for blood-soaked silliness, you could do a lot worse.
Juliet, it looks like you've really gotten ahead in life.
Number 10. Alpha Protocol.
I don't need any more tests, and you know it. Just give me the mission and let's do this.
Good to hear. I was a little worried. You need some more time to recover.
Who wouldn't want to be a super spy? Snipe down the Euro villain, uncover an immense conspiracy, charm a variety of beautiful and deadly femme fatales with a silver tongue. Alpha Protocol gave us all of that. In many ways, its branching dialogue options is one of the deepest in its genre. It's just a shame everything around in terms of combat, customization, and the overall story didn't live up to this one shining mechanic.
I can stay on the line. Just say the word.
Actually, I was thinking about bringing in the big guns.
What? Are you serious?
Hopefully this can serve as a blueprint for a similar and superior IP down the line, but for those that have always wanted to play a secret agent who saves the world while seducing a bulky German mercenary, have at it.
Shh. Good. Now, no more talking.
Number 9. Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow, the edgiest character in Sonic's canon. It was only a matter of time before he got his own game. And what did Sega do? Doubled the edge, but not only offering branching paths where Shadow would either become a hero or embrace his dark legacy, but also let him use guns. Watching the Dark Hedgehog freeze time before shooting down soldiers with a rocket launcher somehow occupies both the realms of awesome and cringe at the same time. It's endured surprisingly well, especially compared to the likes of Sonic 06. Plus, that soundtrack slapped.
This planet was once saved from tyranny and annihilation by you two heroes. Now mankind must protect this peace at all costs.
Number 8. Resident Evil 6. As a Resident Evil game, this is one of, if not the worst out there. There's little to no scares, it plays like a generic action game, and jumps the shark so many times across its 3 campaigns that it's downright unrecognizable when compared to its predecessors. We can't blame fans or casuals for despising it. In so many ways, it's the anti-Resident Evil. And yet, it's for those very reasons that playing through to the end is almost worth it. Experiencing Capcom's lowest point via Leon running away from a zombie dinosaur is certainly entertaining. Given how the franchise has never been stronger, we can now comfortably enjoy its flops as well as its triumphs. Number 7. Hatoful Boyfriend. Yes, it's the pigeon dating sim. Yes, it's still weird, and yes, it's more enjoyable than a visual novel has any right to be. Taking place in a school where everyone else is a large bird while you are a human girl, you're tasked with, what else? Forming relationships and finding that special sunbird. The crazy thing is that the writing, characters, and sense of humor is surprisingly on point. Don't be shocked if you find yourself on your 5th replay, lost in the Hatoful Boyfriend iceberg with no way to escape. Number 6. Vampire Knight. The glory days of light gun games came and went by the turn of the century. Take away the hardware of an arcade cabinet and the overall fun is drastically reduced. That applies to House of the Dead, Time Crisis, and especially Vampire Knights. Does that mean we'd still play it if you handed us a light gun? Of course we would.
Let's have some fun.
This is the best kind of cheesy Sega insanity. Horrendous dub included, as a pair of gunslinging vampire hunters shoot their way through a castle full of elemental bloodsuckers. The fact it can be beaten in less than an hour is probably a bonus, depending on how much you abhor or adore this dialogue.
We have no regrets. It's all over now.
Number 5. Katawa Shoujo. This is something of an oddball entity. Another visual novel, only this one has a story centered around your character being diagnosed with a heart condition and sent to a specialized school filled with other students who have their own set of medical conditions. Considering this touchy subject matter and the even more touchy-feely R-rated scenes, this thing could have been a power keg. However, due to being approached with tactfulness, sensitivity, and some genuinely interesting characters, it certainly makes for a more charming experience than a crass one. Number 4. Earth Defense Force series. If the old monster movies from the 1950s about giant creatures attacking the Earth can be categorized as guilty pleasures, then the same logic can be applied to these video games that revolved around the same idea. You stand as the last line of defense against an onslaught of giant killer bugs attacking our precious blue planet.
Three, two,
So grab your bazooka and get ready to blow them into a million pieces, over and over and over again. Given the amount of sequels it's received, it must be doing something right. Number 3. Deadly Premonition.
I'm Jack. They call me Raging Bull.
That's a manly nickname.
Shut it!
The undisputed king of weirdness. With janky controls and gameplay that feels like an afterthought, you'd think there was nothing this game could offer to entice players. While every criticism may be valid, Deadly Premonition is still adored to this day.
If only I'd been here, Anna might not have gone through.
Where did you stay that night?
Perhaps it's the way the mystery unfolds, how much the characters and the world develop if you're willing to explore, or maybe it's the thrill of breaking through the game to complete it. Whatever the reason, this supernatural head-scratcher is an enigma that defied the odds and will likely never run out of defenders.
Clear as a crisp spring morning. F.K. in the coffee.
Number 2. Dead or Alive, Extreme Beach Volleyball. The X isn't just for show. The only reason anyone had the faintest interest in this spin-off series is the jiggle physics. Taking the already incredibly busty roster of female fighters, putting them in even skimpier attire, and having them throw themselves around while playing volleyball is pure eye candy. The devs knew it, the fans knew it. Here's the thing, it's actually a pretty fun volleyball game, with decent mechanics. Whether you're diving in headfirst to enjoy the view or work on your spike, at the very least, you won't be disappointed. Can't say the same about your immediate family though. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. HuniePop.
Excellent!
It's one of the funniest games in recent memory, and it's about hooking up with every female character you come across. It perfectly meshes dating sim elements with tile matching, and you use it to get each member of your harem into bed. Loudly, might we add. Yes, HuniePop is as raunchy as they come, and it knows it. It's a celebration of all things naughty in the gaming scene, while also making fun of each of its aspects. You know what you're in for, so might as well embrace it. Just make sure you're wearing headphones.
Oh, yeah. I think those are on my desk.
Which game do you stand by despite its flaws? Let us know in the comments.
Well, Mr. Morgan, I'd better start cleaning up. You just take it easy.
In the mood for more awesome gaming content? Be sure to check out this video here on Mojo Plays. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.